Hi everyone, welcome to Awkward Author. My name is Alyssa Grasso, and this is my weekly vlog and podcast about my sometimes awkward, always awesome, mostly awesome, author life. This week I have been getting some more writing done, which is a change from the past few weeks anyway. And also at the same time thinking a lot about marketing, thinking more about marketing, not actually doing marketing, but thinking about it, which is, I guess, step one in the whole process. And I do apologize, I'm just noticing like my mess behind me. It's an organized mess, but it is a mess. That's a printer under there, which sometimes I actually use to print out stuff, and other times I use as a storage space for storing my piles of junk, organized junk. Maybe not junk. Useful things I need. I don't know. So, like I said, I have done some writing this week. I have made forward progress, which is the first time in a while, sort of forward progress, I guess, because I'm behind where I was, I don't know, like a month or so ago. But I've made forward progress on my work in progress. So, as far as like current word count, I think we're around like the 10,000 word mark. And so the reason I say it's forward progress, sort of because like I think I was at like the 28,000 word mark, and now I'm at the 10,000 word mark. But it's actually, technically I'm probably further along than that, because what I'm doing is just kind of going through. Right now I'm going through the one character storyline. I've pulled in some stuff that I wrote before, and then rewriting some new stuff to make more sense with how I reconfigured the outline and, made sense of the mess that I had before, basically. So, it's 10,000 words, probably maybe, I don't know, at least half that is new stuff I've written, probably more than half, really. But then there's other stuff that I've already written that I'm going to use, quite a bit, actually. So even though it's 10,000 words, it's really like I'm further along than that. So I feel pretty confident that, once I get going with this, I'll move along pretty swiftly. And right now, basically I have two character storylines, so I'm just going through the one character storyline. I don't know if I'm gonna, work on her storyline all the way till the end, or if, at some point I'm gonna stop and work on the other character storyline, so that they, because they do meet up at some point. And apologize for the sleeves on this crazy shirt. So I'll just say, I like this shirt. It's cool looking. It was a gift from my boyfriend. It's the kind of thing, though, that you would probably only ever get as a gift. It's not something you would buy yourself, because you'd look at it and you'd be like, oh god, no. I don't know if you can see. I'll try and show you here. The sleeves are really cool. Like, they have this crocheted thing on it and embroidery and really neat. But also, for some reason, they open. I don't know why you need to have them open, but they do. And the way they close, they fasten closed with hook and eye closers. There's like 6 of them on each sleeve, and they don't stay closed. Also, the other problem with hook and eyes is like if you happen to accidentally cross your arms, even like when you're driving, say you're like turning, you can get them hooked together. So anyway, I like this shirt, but sometimes it's a pain to wear. That was my little diversion there. But see, I'm dressed today. Last week I was in sweats. I didn't have this problem. This week, the dangers of getting dressed. I guess maybe because I've been listening to Paul Teague's podcast, and if you are not a fan, I do suggest you listening to it. Paul Teague is an author, self-published author, further along in the self-publishing business than I am. And right now, Paul is in the midst of doing a huge rapid release of his books. Rapid release and rapid re-release. That's a lot of R's there. Anyway, he's, I don't know how he says that every week. But, no, Paul has been chronicling this rapid release, starting from the, the very first book that he put out. And basically each week he's putting out another book. It's overwhelming and exhausting. And, it's a lot of work that he's doing. And it's been interesting to listen, sort of you get an inside glimpse of the whole process, because on a much smaller scale I definitely I want to do some sort of rapid release for my books in 2020, this series that I'm working on. But like we're talking like 3 books, like he's just doing book after book after book, but it's interesting to to see what's involved in it, and, you know, all the work that's involved in it, and also, you know, what sort of, you know, results and success he's had with it. So definitely recommend, as always, listening to Paul's podcast, but especially, you know, listening to this whole rapid release journey and all the work that he's, you know, doing to put into it and get the word out there about his books. And I guess maybe, you know, part of it is that has got me thinking more about marketing. And I guess it's also, you know, I don't even want to say my day job because it's not really my day job stuff, but one of my other side hustles, we'll say, that has me thinking about marketing more. And so one of my other side hustles is selling print on demand items, which basically just means that you have like a digital file. It's not like a physical item until someone actually orders it and it's produced. And so that can refer to anything. That can, you know, like books, you know, if you're selling, you know, paperback or hardcover books of your self-published books, most likely you're using a print on demand service like, you know, Kindle Print or, you know, Ingram Spark or something like that. Those are all print on demand services. But print on demand can also refer to like things like t-shirts, or even like things like tote bags or, you know, party invitations, or, you know, there's all kinds of things nowadays that are produced using print on demand stuff. And, you know, if you're someone who's ordering, you know, your Christmas cards from Shutterfly or something with, you know, your photo on them or whatever, that's print on demand too. So there's all kinds of print on demand things out there. And so I do make money. I do have, you know, a side business selling print on demand items. I sell items in a few different places. Main sources of revenue are Amazon, Zazzle, and Redbubble. And Amazon used to be far and away the winner. And so Amazon's print on demand products division, whatever you want to call it, is called Merch by Amazon. Started out a few years back and originally was just t-shirts. It has expanded to other apparel options. So now we have long sleeve t-shirts and v-neck t-shirts, tank tops, sweatshirts, hoodies, like baseball tees, raglan tees. And what am I leaving out? It's something I don't sell. Oh, pop sockets, like the phone grip things. I don't even bother with those. Anyway, so, you know, obviously anything through Amazon, you know, you have a leg up because Amazon is such a huge shopping destination. So when I first started with Merch by Amazon, I would say I was in like the gold rush time period of it. And so just like when people first started, you know, selling their Kindle books, you know, when Kindle first came out, that was like a gold rush time. And what I mean by that is, you know, I've been part of different, you know, internet gold rushes. And what happens is you can make money very easily if you're lucky enough to, you know, get in on the ground floor or something. It doesn't mean that you'll continue to make money very easily, but at first you could do really well. And so that was my experience with Merch by Amazon. It was like, you know, I could just, you know, make a really simple t-shirt, throw it up there, and, you know, be generating income almost, you know, without any work. You know, I didn't have to promote these things. I was doing nothing to promote them, nothing to market them, no advertising. It's just they were available on Amazon. People were finding them and buying them. And so, you know, in my early days, I guess, of selling Merch by Amazon, like, I was like, well, you know, this can become my full-time income. I mean, like, you know, I'm making thousands of dollars a month from this. This is awesome. And then, you know, with everything, you first of all, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket at any time. And there were some hiccups. So one of the first things that happened that put a big dent into things was that basically Amazon couldn't keep up with the demand for shirts. And so, you know, we get into like this time of year, the holiday rush, and basically they're selling so much stuff that they just are running out of shirts. They can't print them. They don't even have enough shirts in stock to be able to print them. So that became a huge issue. So basically, when you should be selling like even more than ever, the whole thing like ground to a halt. So that was an interesting experience. And that happened like 2 holiday seasons in a row in a different format, but 2 years in a row that happened. So that was like an interesting, eye-opening kind of experience. And then, more recently, what I've found has happened is, with anything, just like with the books, the marketplace has become flooded. So there's so many, shirts available now. And, if you have, if you're looking for, I don't know, just, name a topic and a funny shirt, you go on Amazon, you're gonna have to wade through like pages and pages of them, and some of them are, great, and some of them are ugly, and, how much patience do you have as far as, finding the shirt? Or you're just going to pick the first one that comes up, or you're going to wade through 10 pages of shirts, and so that has definitely had a huge impact on sales, for me. So, I've seen my income go steadily down from, my merch business, even as I'm like, adding more products to my inventory. And, that's bound to happen with anything. I'm not like, complaining or anything. It's just kind of the nature of the beast and how things go. And just like with the books, if you got in early, I think you could make money. You could just publish a book and it could start selling without you having to do anything to get the word out about your book. But, the gold rush is over, both for, the merch by Amazon, as well as like Kindle and other self-publishing venues. And so, these days, if you want to sell a book and it's not something that people are just going to find through searching, and by that I mean basically like nonfiction books on a very specific niche topic that, people are going to be looking for, how-to books, things like that. Those I think you could probably still sell without, doing marketing, although I think the more marketing you do, the more you're going to sell. Just makes sense, right? If you're, if you're doing some smart marketing to the right, target market, you'll probably sell some more books. But as far as like fiction goes, selling fiction, I think these days you have to use some sort of marketing, and there's all different, forms of ways of doing it, even including, free marketing like social media and stuff like that. If you have a following, even an email list is a form of marketing, or if you have, a blog or, popular website, obviously, you might just be able to post about it on there and generate a bunch of sales that way. But yeah, I've been thinking more and more about marketing because, I do have this print-on-demand business, and trying to, generate more sales from it and find ways to market it. And of course, it's not that different than marketing books and, thinking about marketing books. And personally, it's actually probably a little bit easier to, in some cases, I think, in many ways, to market books, because it's so easy to create like these lookalike audiences. If you're writing in this particular style and there's other authors that write in that style, big name authors, I think it's a lot easier, I think, to find the people that are most likely going to read your book, as opposed to if you're selling a t-shirt and, depending on, the subject matter of the t-shirt, it might be hard to figure out how to market it to the people that are most likely going to buy it. Whereas books, I think it's a little bit easier that way. But, another thing that I have noticed, and something I've been thinking about, is I'm putting out, more books, or planning to put out more books. So, in the merch by Amazon world, in the t-shirt business world, there's obviously a lot of sellers, and people use different strategies. And one strategy people use is to, undercut other sellers, to price things lower, so they get, less money per sale, but, thinking that maybe they'll get more sales. And honestly, I don't necessarily agree with this strategy, only because I've been selling online a long time. And so, I know how that strategy, ends up. It's, it becomes a race to the bottom kind of thing. And next thing you know, nobody's making any money. Or, somebody's making 2 cents per sale or something like that. When I first got started selling stuff on the internet, I sold used books. And it was a different marketplace at that time, and basically people would, there were sellers, who were selling in huge volume, who were selling books for like, a penny or whatever, because they were making the money on like a shipping credit that you got at that time from Amazon. And so, that was basically their whole business model. But I mean, the shipping credit wasn't huge, so they were making basically pennies per sale, when you factored in the cost of shipping and all that. And so, as an individual seller, there would be no point in doing it. Like, it wouldn't be worth your time. But these were like, big organizations, and they could actually kind of afford to do this because they made up for it in the volume kind of thing. And so that's what happens with like these race to the bottom things. It never really is going to benefit like an individual. You're always going to, get hurt by it. Unless you're living like somewhere where the cost of living is really cheap and a penny has, a lot more value. It's tough to compete in that kind of atmosphere. And so I've been thinking about that in terms of the pricing of my books, and doing like a rapid release schedule, and what do I want to price things at, and how will that, how will that marketing benefit me? Like I'm thinking about, I'm going to put out a trilogy. So I want to initially put the first book out, and have like a price tag on. I don't know what it's going to be. Like, might be $1.99. Maybe I'll go with, I don't know. With the thinking being that at some point I'm going to, make that available for free, do a BookBub, free deal on it, and, try to bring in readers that way. I won't put it to free until I have like the third book in the series out, and then hopefully, I'm going to make the money, obviously, on the read-through, on people buying the second and third books. And so with that thinking, I'm like, well, what am I pricing the second and third books at? And, what's a reasonable amount of money for someone to spend on a book? And, like, is there, for a seller, if you're selling on Amazon, there's a huge difference between selling a book at $1.99 and selling it at $2.99. It's because you're getting a higher, royalty percentage on the $2.99 book. And so, to a buyer, thinking like as an individual, as a book buyer, is there a huge difference from $1.99 to a $2.99 book? And my thinking is probably not so much. To the difference between $2 and $3 really isn't that big a deal if you think about, if you're buying something at the store, if you're buying, a coffee, or you're buying, some small item, a food item or something at the store, would something being $2.99 turn you off, as opposed to something being not $1.99? And maybe it would. I don't know. Maybe you're going to go for the $1.99 item as opposed to the $2.99 item. So just some stuff I've been thinking about in my head. But yeah, what am I going to price things at? If you give a book away for free, will that mean that you're going after, the freebie people, and will they not be as inclined to spend $2.99 on a second book to see what happens next in the series? I don't know, guys. I don't have all the answers. Just some stuff that I have been thinking about, and thinking about, marketing and stuff. I happened upon, I didn't get involved in it, but there was a online discussion taking place, I think, it was, people who are in the traditional book publishing business. I think they were both on like the publishing side of things, not authors, so either editors or agents, or, something to that effect. And again, like, so they have certain biases there. And, their kind of thing was like basically saying, this whole, self-publishing revolution didn't really turn out so great, because it hasn't really benefited readers, and, authors now find that, it's very difficult to sell books. You have to do a lot of marketing and stuff like that, which, I don't think that's any surprise there. And I obviously don't agree with them about, the self-publishing revolution not working out and all that. But it was just, an interesting take on things that, obviously coming from their background, these sleeves, my goodness. Anyway, coming from their background, they, have a certain a feeling that, you need publishers, and, without publishers, it's like the Wild West or something out there, and, it's too crazy, and it's not really a benefit to either consumers or authors, which, obviously I don't agree with that. But it's, that's some people, how they think about things and how they view things. And honestly, being an author who has been traditionally published, I don't think that, you obviously have to take a huge cut in terms of the royalties you get and the benefits. If you're a top author, if you're like the lead author at a big publishing house, obviously the benefits are huge, and it makes more sense to be a traditionally published author. If you're not the top author, if you're what, we call a mid-list author, it really depends. The benefits are not as great as you think they might be. There really is a limited amount of marketing that's done for your books. The main benefit is really that you can get your book into bookstores, into hopefully, all the bookstores, as well as Walmart, Target, that sort of thing, supermarkets. But that's not a given. It's not, being traditionally published does not mean you're going to be able to walk into Target and find your book. You have to be, pretty high up there in terms of, where you sit on the, the ranking of authors from your publisher type of thing, to have that kind of clout and to get into the stores beyond the bookstores. And even being a traditionally published author and being with the big publisher does not guarantee you're even going to get into Barnes and Noble. So you hope that's going to be the case, but I know that, from experience from other authors, that is not always the way that it goes. So, it's a crazy business. It really is. And so obviously, there's benefits to being traditionally published. There's benefits to being self-published. And no matter, what route you go, you're going to have to do some marketing at some point, in order for your books to get found. And it may be as simple as, having a good following on social media. But it may involve, a little bit more legwork and doing some advertising, playing around with pricing, maybe, playing around with, making a book free, and, doing the series thing. It's a lot to think about. Obviously, I don't have all the answers or have it all figured out. But that's just what's been on my mind this week. And, it's interesting to see the parallels between the print on demand stuff I do and the book publishing, and just see how they're sort of that. They're different, but they're very much the same in many ways too. And, it's just, if you're trying to market a product on the internet, there are a lot of, things that are the same about that. Obviously there's a lot of differences too, but in essence, it all comes down to the same thing. You gotta find your target audience, or, define your target audience, and, get the word out there to them, and in such a way that you're going to convert them into buyers, make them want to buy, or, if it's a free book, download your book. And anyway, it sounds very easy, but it can be difficult. And so, and to do it in a profitable way. I mean, obviously, if you throw enough money at it, you can get anyone to buy your book. Well, maybe not anyone, but you can get buyers. If you put enough money out there, the trick is to do it in such a way that you're spending less money than you're taking in terms of sales. And that can be the challenge. So, yeah. I don't have the answers. I don't have it figured out. I have mostly questions and ideas. And I'm looking forward to, playing around more with marketing and stuff once I get into, the new year and I'm putting out this new series. But until then, I will keep my thinking cap on, and I will keep thinking about marketing. And also I will actually do some writing so that I can put a series out there, because I have to finish writing the series before I can even publish it. So I've got my work cut out for me, guys. But yeah, thank you for listening this week, or watching, as the case may be. I know I was doing a bit of rambling, but that's just my thoughts, my 2 cents, or 10 cents or whatever it is on the subject, and hopefully you're making more than that on the sale of your books. But anyway, thank you, and thank you for support. I will be back again next week. I put out new episodes of Awkward Author every week. If you would like to know more about me, you can visit my website, which is alyssagrosso.com, and that is ALISSAGROSSO.com. And have a great week, guys. If you are writing, I hope you are making great progress. If you are marketing, I hope you have figured out, the perfect solution and are selling tons of books or whatever product you are selling. Take it easy, guys. I'll see you again soon.